It started as something ordinary. A loyal dog, always beside his owner. But lately, his behavior had changed. He would bark at the walls, pace at night, and never leave her side. Her husband laughed at first, thinking it was just overprotection. But when the dog refused to let her sleep alone, concern grew. The woman said she felt safe, though she didn't know why. Days passed, and the dog's eyes seemed to hold a secret. He'd whine softly whenever she coughed or stumbled. Finally, her husband decided to install a camera. What he saw the next morning changed everything, and the truth behind the dog's strange behavior left everyone speechless. This wasn't just loyalty. It was love beyond reason. A bond between a human and an animal no one could explain, because sometimes the heart of a dog knows more than we ever will. The mornings were peaceful, but something had changed in his eyes. He no longer greeted her with playful jumps or wagging tail. Instead, he followed her like a shadow that refused to fade. Every step she took, his paws echoed right behind her. He wouldn't eat until she had her breakfast first. At night, he sat by her bed, alert and restless. Even the sound of wind made him growl, softly in warning. She called his name, but his gaze never left her face. It was love. Yes, but also something deeper, something worried. Her husband noticed, but brushed it off with a smile. "He's just being protective," he said, sipping his tea, but deep down, the woman could feel something was off. The house felt colder, quieter, and somehow different. Every corner carried the weight of invisible eyes. The dog barked at shadows no one else could see, and when she coughed, his head jerked up instantly. That night, she whispered, "What's wrong, boy?" He only whined softly, pressing his head against her lap. His heart knew something that words could never say, and that silence was the beginning of everything. He began to notice the unease in the dog's every move. The loyal companion who once played, now only guarded. He'd block the hallway when his wife walked by. His ears twitched at every sound. Every breath she took. It wasn't aggression. It was something else. Almost pleading, the husband watched, unsure whether to laugh or worry. He started keeping notes, observing every strange action. The dog refused to leave her, even when called outside. At night, he'd scratch the door until it opened to her room. Every time she coughed or sighed, he would nudge her hand. It was like he was counting her breaths, fearing one might stop. "Maybe he senses something we don't," a friend joked, but the husband couldn't shake the uneasiness in his gut. Why did the dog's eyes look so full of fear lately? Why did he whimper every time his wife felt dizzy? Something was happening, something he couldn't explain. The laughter faded, replaced by quiet watching. He needed to know the truth behind those silent eyes, and for that, he decided to set up a hidden camera. That night, he placed it facing her bed, heart heavy, unsure. The house was dark, save for a faint blue glow. A soft hum of the camera filled the silent room. The woman slept peacefully, unaware of the secret lens. Her dog lay beside her, chest rising and falling in sync. Minutes passed, then hours. As midnight slowly arrived, the husband watched from the living room, eyes fixed. He expected nothing, just reassurance that all was well. But what he saw next made his heart tighten. The dog stirred suddenly, ears perked and trembling. He sniffed the air, then stood over her chest protectively, his nose pressed near her face, as if checking her breath. Then she stopped moving for a moment too long. The dog nudged her once, twice, then whimpered. He began pawing her shoulder frantically, refusing to stop, and then she gasped, breathing again. As he licked her face, the husband froze, his blood turning cold. The dog had just saved her from something unseen. Maybe from sleep apnea, maybe from something worse. But the truth was clear. This wasn't a pet, it was a guardian, and the camera had captured a miracle no one could deny. The next morning, he couldn't look at the dog the same way. He replayed the footage over and over, each second heavier. Tears welled up when he saw the panic in those brown eyes. Dog had sensed what even doctors didn't know. His wife's breathing had stopped just for a few moments, not enough to change everything. If not for that loyal heart. He showed her the footage, voice shaking with emotion. She sat frozen, watching her guardian in disbelief. Her eyes filled with tears as she reached for his fur. The dog simply wagged his tail, unaware of his own heroism. Doctors confirmed it. She had a hidden heart condition, without treatment. It could have taken her quietly. One night, the husband's hands trembled as he thanked their savior, a creature who didn't speak, yet understood life itself. He promised never to doubt those watchful eyes. Again, the woman hugged her dog tighter than ever before. Had been trying to tell them all along. Love had become a warning, and that warning saved her life. It was no longer just loyalty. It was destiny, and destiny had 4 paws and a beating heart of gold. Days turned to weeks, and the story spread like wildfire. The footage touched millions who saw the miracle unfold. People cried, some smiled, others whispered prayers of awe. But the woman and her dog remained the same, together. Every heartbeat she took now felt like a gift from him. He still watched her, slept beside her, loved her fiercely. Her husband often found them sitting in silent comfort. No words needed, just trust. Unbreakable and pure. The house no longer felt haunted. It felt alive. Every breath reminded them of how fragile life is. And how deeply animals can love without ever speaking. The dog's eyes no longer carried fear, only peace. He had done his duty, and in doing so, found his purpose. Sometimes, angels don't come with wings, they come with fur. They guard us quietly, love us endlessly, and never ask why. The woman often whispered, "You saved me, my boy," and he'd press his head into her chest. Heart to heart, that it wasn't just rescue, it was rebirth through love, a story of faith, instinct, and the miracle of compassion. Because love, in its truest form, always finds a way. News channels picked up the story within days of the footage leaked. Everywhere. People spoke about the brave German Shepherd. Online. Headlines called him the dog who saved his owner's life. Clips from the night went viral, gathering millions of views. Children watched in awe, holding their own pets tighter. Animal lovers called it a miracle, born of pure instinct. The couple's home turned into a place of heartfelt visitors. Journalists asked for interviews, tears shining in their eyes. But the husband only smiled and said, "He's not a hero. He's family." Even the local police honored the dog with a golden badge. The woman stood beside him proudly, holding his collar. As cameras flashed, he stayed calm, gazing lovingly at her. He didn't understand fame. He only understood love. The crowd clapped, but his tail wagged only for her smile. Somewhere deep down, the dog still remembered that night. The fear, the breathless moments, the fight for her life. He didn't need recognition. He already had everything he wanted. Her heartbeat, her scent, her warmth beside him. That was his real reward. His true forever medal. A hero's heart beating beneath soft fur and gentle eyes. Recovery wasn't just physical, it was emotional. 2. The woman had to regain her strength, step by step, and through every step, the dog never left her side. He walked beside her, slow and steady, patient as ever. Each walk was like a prayer of gratitude in motion. Neighbors watched, waving, touched by the sight of them. Her laughter returned, soft and bright like morning light. The husband often whispered, "He's the reason she smiles again." In truth, The dog had healed them both without medicine. He had become the bridge between fear and hope. Every heartbeat felt like a rhythm shared by three souls. House once cold now echoed with laughter, and barking. No more hidden. Cameras just open hearts and trust. Woman began keeping a journal titled My Guardian. Each page filled with memories of courage and loyalty. Sometimes she'd sit beside him, reading aloud softly. And though he couldn't understand the words, he listened. Because to him, her voice was the only language that mattered. Love had turned pain into purpose, and silence into peace. And in that peace, life found its sweetest sound again. Months later, another storm rolled across their small town. Thunder cracked the sky, shaking windows and hearts alike. The woman trembled. It reminded her of that long, cold night. Her dog pressed closer, head resting on her lap protectively. Outside, wind howled like an echo from the past. The husband watched, memories flickering behind his eyes. He realized how far they had all come together. The power went out, darkness wrapping the house. In that silence, she whispered, "You saved me once, remember?" The dog lifted his head, eyes glowing in the candlelight. He didn't understand the words, but he felt their truth. In that stillness, time seemed to stop again. This time, not from fear, but from gratitude. They didn't need lights to see love shining in the dark, because love like that never fades. It glows from within. The storm outside raged, but peace reigned inside. The family sat together, hand, paw, and heart. And as thunder roared, he let out one calm sigh, for he knew his purpose was fulfilled, and she was safe, forever guarded by the heart of a loyal friend. The couple decided to help others after the miracle. They began funding dog rescue and training programs. "We owe our lives to one," the husband often said. Proudly, their home became a safe haven for abandoned dogs. The hero dog watched as new lives entered their home. He greeted each one gently, as if telling them, "You're safe now." Children came to visit, learning what true loyalty meant. The woman taught them how animals feel, how they love. Sometimes, she'd say, "They're the angels we don't deserve." Every rescued dog carried a story, some broken, some brave, and in their eyes she saw reflections of her own past. The hero dog became their quiet leader, their teacher. No barking orders, just silent guidance and care. One small act of instinct had rippled into endless kindness. From one saved life, dozens more found salvation. The story that once broke hearts now healed many others. It was proof that love, once awakened, multiplies forever. The woman often looked at him and whispered, "You started it all." And he'd look back, tail wagging, proud and content, because some heroes don't need capes. They just need love. In a world rushing too fast, a silent guardian taught us to pause. He showed that instincts come from the purest kind of love. That loyalty can save lives, even when words cannot. The dog never spoke, but his actions echoed, louder than cries. He reminded us that every creature carries a spark of purpose. Sometimes, the smallest act can change a destiny forever. The woman lived because her dog refused to give up. The husband learned that love is not said, it is shown. And the world learned that miracles wear fur, not wings. Faith isn't about seeing, it's about believing in hearts unseen. That night's fear turned into tomorrow's hope for millions. Every breath she took afterward became a silent thank you, and every heartbeat reminded them of divine protection. Love had chosen its messenger, and he had 4 paws, a guardian sent not from heaven above, but from earth below. The story ended, but the lesson will live forever. Trust the love that looks at you without words. Cherish the heart that guards yours without reason. Because sometimes love's truest form doesn't speak, it protects. And that ... is the miracle only a dog's heart can create.